To call this meeting to order, Oconee County Council meeting, June 2nd, 2020. It is right at 6 p.m. We'll begin with public comment session. Just for those aware, the time is kept up here. I'll hold this up showing 1 minute remaining. Flip it over when time's up. Mr. Barnett.
Well, since the last time I faced y'all, their world's kind of turned upside down. And it looks like it's going to be that way for a while. By the way, I'm Jerry Barnett, for the record. What's left of me. Maybe too much for some people to handle. First thing I would like to comment on, every once in a blue moon, the right person is in the right place at the right time, or maybe the wrong time in this case. Miss Brock, the work she did with these tornado victims and her recovery and cleanup effort down there, I don't have the words to describe how good it was. The best. Her predecessor certainly couldn't have handled that. He was busy trying to tell you how great he was. But I'd like to thank Miss Amanda, and I'm not the only one that feels that way. Finally, we've got the right person in the right place. One thing I'd like, and it kind of pains me, what I'm going to talk about now. The makeup of this planning commission needs to be addressed. We've got a couple members that try to bully the rest of and intimidate the rest of the members by out talking, and they've got clearly a personal agenda. In my simple country boy mind, there should be no place in this body or that planning commission for a personal agenda or cronyism. Now, y'all need to take some steps to clean this up. You people are sworn, you're elected, and you're sworn to represent we the people. That don't mean rule we the people. This is supposed to be a government of the people, for the people, by the people. Not a couple of planning commission members and 2 or 3 council members. That ain't the way it's supposed to work. But it's pretty plain to all of us what's going on here. It's hard to hide it. It's just got bad. It's got a bad smell. And you certainly need to address it. Thank you.
Mr. Mike Smith.
My name is Mike Smith, and I'm coming before you tonight as a private citizen, not speaking or representing any organization or commission. I want to talk about the lack of availability of high-speed internet in the rural and some urban areas. I should also mention that I know about the controversy between the county and a major internet provider after the fiber optics cable was installed in the county. However, the coronavirus has certainly brought into focus the importance of the internet to allow people to work from home, attend school, contact their doctor, provide entertainment, and generally communicate with the outside world. I doubt we'll fully return to the way we previously addressed these areas in our life. We should acknowledge that there's a direct relationship between population density and the investment internet companies make in the needed infrastructure. They simply want a return on their infrastructure investment. To encourage these companies to make an investment, the federal government has programs to encourage this type investment. Let me suggest 2 steps to improve this internet availability. First, the county needs to be knowledgeable of the FCC's Universal Service Fund, which is an umbrella name for several individual government programs. To help you navigate the labyrinth of these federal programs, you might consider asking for Mr. Duncan's help. However, an excellent overview of these programs is found in a publication titled Demand for Broadband in Rural Areas, Implications for Universal Service. This was about 30 pages long and prepared by the Congressional Research Service. It said that federal subsidies underwritten by taxpayer funds and long-distance telephone subscriber fees have injected billions of dollars into rural broadband markets over the past decade, mostly on the supply side in the form of grants, loans, and direct support to broadband providers. However, even in subsidized markets, broadband infrastructure build-out ultimately rests on business decisions made in the private sector. Once the county has become knowledgeable of the FCC's programs and researches other counties where a program has been successful, the next step would be to invite the internet providers to discuss with the county council their future plans for providing high-speed internet service to the county. The internet providers would be more accommodating and cooperative if they know you're knowledgeable of the FCC's programs and have discussed with other counties how they were successful. True availability of high-speed internet should be a top priority for the county and should start with direction from you, the county council. Thank you.
You still had a minute left if you had anything else. You got?
No, I don't have anything else. That 30 pages was riveting.
I do have Mr. Marshall on here, the rock crusher. Would you rather be on the public hearing on the rock crusher itself?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, if you're good with that, we'll just move you to there. Is that okay with you?
Okay, you don't move me to that then, okay?
Okay, we'll be right to it shortly. Any other public comment at this time besides the rock crusher? Okay, open up to council member comments.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I have a big shout out for the Oconee law enforcement. Yesterday, down in Seneca, at the demonstration, our law enforcement was handing out water and popsicles. It gave me hope for America. It gave me hope for America. It was beautiful. And thank you to them.
Any other council member comments? Okay. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Mr. Root?
Yes, sir. Pray with me if you'd like to. Well, Father, thank you for this day, first of all, that you have made. Help us to rejoice, to be glad in it, to appreciate it, to take nothing for granted, for your good. And every breath of air that we breathe comes from you. So in these particularly troubling times, it seems, as Mr. Barnett pointed out the last time we met, a lot has transpired since. Help us to be grateful for what we have, for the good things, as all good gifts come from you. And gird us up, give us strength and insight for the troubling items, issues, things that plague our community, certainly the state and our nation. Show us what we can do, what our role is to do, not in furtherance of our own selfish desires, but rather selflessly to move forward your good plan. Pray for this meeting tonight, that it would be your meeting. You'd give us ears to hear. In your name I pray, amen.
Mr. Elliott, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion to approve May 19, 2020 regular council minutes.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hart, second by Mr. Kane. Any changes, amendments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Ms. Brock?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and members of council, good evening. And everybody that we've missed so much, welcome back. I've even missed the nickel and Jerry. It's sad, isn't it? And John sitting right behind me. On the agenda tonight, one of the other things I'm really happy to see is approximately 400 acres for council consideration and approval for conservation easements in Oconee County, and that is a testament to the conservation bank that was established so long ago that has come so far in the several years. That's just something that personally makes me feel really happy about being here, is that the county and the government and people work together to understand the importance of the conservation of our important lands for our future and our children. I'd like to also echo Mr. Elliott's hope message. Hope. I think that's the most, hope is probably one of the most vital feelings that we can have right now. There's a lot of despair, a lot of confusion, a lot of anger, a lot of mistrust. Hope is actually something that's very welcome for us at this moment. And one more thing on the agenda this evening, and I know Phil is here as well. Is Phil not here?
He's in the conference room.
Oh, good to meet you. So we do have a change order this evening for hopefully what is the last, but the final initial ADA upgrades requirements for High Falls Park and Shaw-Ram County Parks. And this is something that all of you know about now that you've been sitting on this council for quite some time. It's been the mission of Oconee County Council for the 3 years now, and this will be something we really are excited to get finished.
Mr. Root, any comments?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, just one, and this is just now growth of the budget and finance meeting earlier. As I understand it, we are going to take amendments to 2020-01, the county budget, to have it reflect the current year's budget. So just when that comes up, you will make a motion and a second to approve it on second reading, and at which time we can, I think that's not ready, so we'll postpone it. You don't have a specific date, just a motion to postpone that, and we'll come back with the amendments, just a highlight for what's coming up. Otherwise, nothing else. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. We have a presentation, Mr. Josh Rhodes and Mr. Tim Winslow from Association of Counties. They'll have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Tim Winslow. I'm with the South Carolina Association of Counties, and Josh Rhodes is with me, also with the Association of Counties. And if y'all don't mind, I'm going to handle the financial services, education and training and publications part of our service package, and then Josh is going to handle the legal advocacy and advocacy section of our services. I always like to start off by thanking y'all and thanking the citizens for letting us represent you. Never make any mistake that I am a true believer in county government. I believe that government is derived from the people. It's in our Constitution, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Your closest general government to the people is county government. It's not municipal government, it's not state government, it is county government. And therefore, the best government is that which is closest to the people, which is county government. So I am a true believer. I want to represent you, and I thank you for letting me represent you. As you may or may not know, I became executive director in January. It's a position that I treasure, and I thank you very much for allowing me to be your executive director. Josh and I were laughing on the way up here. Oconee County was the first place both of us spoke when we started the Association of Counties. I started 22 years ago. And I don't know why they sent a 27-year-old up here to talk about video poker, but that's what they did. And so this was the very first presentation I ever gave was in Oconee County. And I know Josh will tell you about his experience as well. So thanks for letting me come back. I've been back several times, but I'm very happy to be here again. I looked a little different 22 years ago when I was 27. We provide financial services, education and training, and publications. And the financial services that Oconee County takes advantage of is first of all, the Workers' Compensation Trust. That trust is important for, and I always say for three very big reasons. First of all, you own the trust. The trust is administered by the South Carolina Association of Counties. If you have any problems with the Workers' Compensation Trust, you can call our insurance director, you can call our underwriter, or more importantly, you can call me, and I'll take care of it. Or you can call Josh, and he'll take care of it. So you own it. You should call us if you have any problems with our Workers' Compensation Trust, and that's one of the chief advantages of being a member of the Workers' Compensation Trust. But I'd argue that probably the largest advantage is the fact that it has reached a point. We have 41 counties, roughly 60 entities in the Workers' Compensation Trust. We are not controlled by the reinsurance market. If many of y'all know, especially if you're in the P&L side, that the reinsurance market, if you don't have enough strength in the market, that you can be controlled by the reinsurance market. Luckily, we have a $5 million deductible, so we actually retain the risk on the first $5 million of risk that is within the county, which means that you don't see dramatic increases in your workers' compensation premium. In fact, the Workers' Compensation Trust has not increased their premium since 2010. So we've gone, now this will be the 10th year in a row that we have not increased our workers' compensation premium, and we're very proud of that. And in 2010, frankly, we actually decreased the workers' compensation premium. So unless you've increased payroll or you've had dramatic risk changes, in other words, you get more accidents, you haven't seen your premium increase in a decade. And I'm happy to report, frankly, that Oconee County has what they say, a 0.96 risk factor. That means that y'all are under. 1 is the average. So y'all are below average in the national trend of risk factor, and that is a testament to the way y'all administer your county. That means less risk, means less cost, and frankly, more importantly, it means less injured employees. And that segues into my next statement about our Workers' Compensation Trust. It also means that you get to take advantage of our risk management services. Those services include classes about how to minimize the risk within your county. Again, saving money, saving workers from getting injured. That means that you can take advantage of our video library. We have an extensive video library that can be utilized to decrease risk within your county. And finally, we have e-learning opportunities in terms of way you can learn to minimize risk within the county. One of the things we've been concentrating on is defensive driving for non-law enforcement personnel. And if you ever look at some of the workers' compensation cases, you'd understand why. I know all of y'all know that keeping people from getting in accidents on the road is one of the most important ways to decrease injuries, decrease loss of productivity, and decrease costs within your workers' compensation program. So I thank y'all for being members of the Workers' Compensation Program. I think it serves Oconee County residents well, and congratulations on your very low risk factor. The second part of our financial services that y'all take advantage of is our debt set-off program. The debt set-off program allows us to collect on behalf of the county debts that are owed to the county. That saves taxpayer dollars. If someone's not paying a debt they owe to the county, then every other taxpayer has to pay for what is not being paid into the county. In the past 4 years, the Association of Counties has returned $400,000 to Oconee County for the debt set-off program. So I'm very pleased that we've been able to do that. That's one of the programs I'm most proud of. Again, I think there's no doubt that saves taxpayer dollars, because that's money coming directly back to Oconee County that would be paid, and it would have to be offset by property taxpayers on the other side. Unless y'all have any questions about the financial services package, I'm going to move on to the education and training. We provide all kinds of education and training at the Association of Counties, and we're very proud of our training program. We have the Institute of Government, which many of your council members have taken advantage of. And that Institute of Government allows you to come together, learn from experts in the field. They cover items like county budgets. They cover items like Freedom of Information Act, land use. I taught a basics in law course 1 year at the Institute of Government. That was a very long 3 hours, I might add. And I think that a lot of people fell asleep while I was giving it, but I tried my best anyway. We have through the Institute of Government, you can earn credits toward level 1, level 2 graduates from the Institute of Government. If you haven't taken advantage of the Institute of Government, I'd advise any county official may take advantage of it. And I think it's a wonderful program. I've sat through many of the classes. Some of them, as long as I'm not teaching them, I'll be honest with you, they're very entertaining. We also have e-learning. We have webinars. In fact, Josh and I were yucking up in the office today and then realized that there was a webinar going on. And so that means all the doors on the second floor is closed. And the men and women who are putting on the webinar they have signs up that say, you guys shouldn't be making a lot of noise. And of course, I'm a pretty loud guy in the office. So they came out and told me to shut up is what essentially happened. But you can certainly do e-learning through the webinars at Association Counties. Those are always free to anyone who sees a webinar come up. We've recently done webinars on the Freedom of Information Act. During the COVID crisis, we did a webinar on the CARES Act funding and a webinar on HR issues within the CARES Act. That was extremely well attended. We're going to have another webinar. We actually just got credit from the SE Bar to offer it for CLE credit. So if you want to listen in, you can get an hour for free. You already beat me to it. That's pretty good. We also have the Attorneys Institute. It's a 6-hour CLE we put on every year. We offer it at a reasonable price. I anticipate we'll be able to put it on again this year. At least I hope we are. It's generally in November. Obviously, if we can't put it on in person, we're planning on putting it on online through a webinar, and it would most likely be free if we do it that way. We have a planning and zoning training component to our education that's offered for free, and all planning and zoning officials have to be certified, and you can get that certification through the South Carolina Association of Counties. We actually were the first entity to get certification authority from the state. We also, our educational and training component also puts on surveys. We survey the counties. I think you've probably read, and I'm going to segue into publications. If you've ever seen the wage and salary report, which gives examples of the wages and salaries of each county, so each county knows generally if they're in the range of how they should be paying their personnel, that's done by the survey component of the education and training group. They also do surveys on taxes in South Carolina. And that is probably the publication that, frankly, I get the most calls about, especially at the General Assembly, is we're the only people that you pretty much get tax information from regarding millage rates from municipalities, counties, school districts, special purpose districts. That is housed at the Association of Counties. When the Tax Study Committee of the House of Representatives was trying to find the information they needed for Dr., and I'm going to call her Dr. Rebecca because that's who they hired. I can't pronounce Dr. Rebecca G's name. But anyway, she needed the information, so we were able to send the doctor the information that we had collected through survey, and she was able to utilize that to help the House Study Committee do their tax reform study. The other publications we have is the County Focus Magazine, Carolina Counties. All these publications provide information about what's going on in the various counties, which I consider an education component as well. You can learn from other counties and see how important the work that they're doing, and then you can implement that within your own county. There's nothing better, frankly, than stealing an idea from somewhere else. And so that's an excellent way to read through it, steal an idea, and implement it in your county to help your constituents. We have the Model Rules of Procedure. That is another publication we put out. And that's all I have, but I'm calling Josh to explain the legal services advocacy way. And then I'll answer any questions y'all have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of council. Again, my name is Josh Rhodes. I'm Deputy Executive Director and General Counsel with the South Carolina Association of Counties. And Tim is correct. I started my job 12 years ago on a Monday, and on Tuesday I was up here in County Council Chambers presenting, I believe it was a recognition that y'all had achieved at the annual conference. Been up several times since then, but I'll always remember that as a second day on the job, getting to drive up to Oconee County and present to the council. And I've been up several times since, and here I am again. So we always do enjoy coming up to Oconee and appreciate the hospitality you always show us and the association. As Deputy Director and General Counsel, I wanted to briefly talk about legislative advocacy and legal services. As you can tell, that 3-hour talk, Tim had to do that time, didn't have too much impact on him. He can still talk pretty good, but I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. One of the main things, or one of the main services that the association provides is legislative advocacy, and the reason for that is historically that's why the Association of Counties was originally created. Before basically 1972, really, but 1975, technically county governments were not empowered with the home rule authority that they have today. That was brought about through the Home Rule Act in 1972, or the Home Rule constitutional change in 1972, and subsequently the Home Rule Act, which was passed in 1975. Those two historic changes for county government were the direct result of the legislative advocacy program that the association was founded for in 1967, and their activities from 1967 up through 1975 and even into today that led to the enactment of the Home Rule Act, which gives county government a lot of the authority. This form of government we're here today under was created in that act. So I always like to remember and point out that the legislative advocacy was one of the main reasons the association was founded, and it's still an important facet of the association today. The legislative advocacy portion is still very much geared towards statewide representation of the local issues that the counties face. One question we get a lot is, well, how do we know, quote unquote, which county you're representing, or are you just looking out for one county? The answer to that is no. And the way we protect against that, and then we have a procedure in place to develop the policy of the Association of Counties. Every county council chair from all 46 counties is either a member or they can designate someone to be on the legislative committee. Our entire board of directors, which represents many of the counties, is also a member. And then we have presidential appointees, which are, like we have county attorneys for legal issues. We have assessors for property tax issues that have expertise in certain areas. They all get together a few times a year, discuss any issues that either have occurred in the legislature or that we think that are coming up, and discuss the best position for county government to take on that. And that's a really important process, because that's a good way to get input from all corners of the state and all counties in the state on issues that affect counties throughout the state, but also get input from individual counties where they might have a different issue with it than some other counties. For instance, we had an issue with short-term rentals that actually Pickens County came to us with a few years ago, and they said, yeah, we're not like Charleston where we have all these hotels, but on Clemson football weekends, we have people that come up and rent houses. So we'd like to try to get some hospitality tax revenue for the short-term rentals. And so that's an issue that was general to the state, but a specific issue is related to Pickens County. And so that's the benefit of that process. As it relates to working with your delegation specifically, I'm proud to say that it was not always the case, but currently we work very, very well with both your House and Senate member. We work with Chairman Sandifer of LCI very closely on the business license legislation. We're supportive of that legislation and very hopeful that it passes in this interrupted session that the state is in. We also worked with Senator Alexander on a bill that was important to him, that would have streamlined the way businesses pay certain taxes, some counties to the county and some counties to the DOR. It was creating confusion. So we worked with the senator on that bill and we got into an agreement with the senator and the CPA group and to come up with a good solution that worked for the counties and the CPA. So I'm happy to report that not only do we work well with the legislature for all counties, but specifically for Oconee, we work very well with your legislative delegation in getting things that is important not only to them, but that's important to Oconee County that y'all want to see get through and state legislature. Switching to the legal side, that is another service we provide. It can be accessed through several different ways. We supplement your county attorney. A lot of times what we, and this is especially true right now during the COVID-19 or coronavirus, there's a lot of issues that are popping up that have never popped up before. Initially, could you have meetings virtually? Luckily, that's covered in the FOIA statute. How do you go about doing that? How do you make sure that you have PPE, those types of issues? And there's always legal implications that your county attorney can tell to come up with any new issue. And so in my personal opinion, I think it's very beneficial to have kind of that centralized legal resource where we've talked to other county attorneys who might have dealt with it or other county council or administration that's dealt with it and can can provide that cooperation and some advice on how to deal with new issues, and not just new issues, but issues that pop up all the time that being an attorney, you always want to bounce something off another attorney if you're dealing with something you never dealt with. So we like to be there for that purpose. We provide advisory opinions for any county official. They can call and say, hey, the statute says this, what do you think it says? We'll work through the county attorney, but we do provide those advisory opinions. Amicus briefs, if you unfortunately find yourself in the Supreme Court being sued for any number of reasons, the Association of Counties, by approval of the board, can provide amicus brief help, which is basically a friend of the court brief to help with the county's position. We do general legal research, and again, that really applies with all these federal acts that are being passed to respond to COVID-19. How does that affect your family medical leave? How does that affect who gets emergency paid sick leave? Those questions that were never asked before because those two federal laws didn't exist before. We're trying to help get answers to those and work with not only your legal staff, but the county administrative staff as well to get answers to those questions. So those are generally what we do on the legislative and legal side. As Tim said, it's my absolute pleasure to serve y'all and county government. It's something really easy to advocate for because to me, Tim says it more eloquently than I do, but it just makes the most sense. I mean, y'all are closest to the people. I've spoken personally, not just as my job. I've spoken at city and county council meetings. I've never spoken at a DC hearing, and I've never spoken personally at a state house hearing. But it's easy for me to get to my city and especially my county who represents everybody. So I do want to thank y'all for all that you do and thank the citizenry here for showing up and showing interest in the things that impact their community. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate y'all coming up from Columbia today.
Socially distanced for a second.
Yeah,
Josh,
there
since
you
we
go.
rode up in the car together, I think we're not safe, depending on how you look
And
at
to
it.
answer that question, we were happy to get out of Columbia.
There you go. Well, I'm sure. But, you know, as someone that's been part of the education programs along with most of us up here have learned a lot from those programs, from whether it's administrators or counties, attorneys, or your staff that has brought that up. And is extremely helpful for us to learn about issues that are going on in other counties and learn about what other counties are doing for their citizens and other citizen issues that have been brought forth. And, you know, it's part of being part of a team together that, you know, our attorney's not standing by himself. He actually has you all to go with, and the same way with issues that arise that I may be unused to. I've reached out to several of y'all to ask questions, and I know most council has done the same thing as well. So, you know, it is extremely beneficial for Oconee County to continue to be a part of Association of Counties, and, you know, from my standpoint, it's one of the most valuable things that we're a part of, and I appreciate what y'all do to continue to provide to Oconee County. And appreciate Mr. Kane's leadership on the board for what he does. A lot of people don't exactly know what he's poured into the Association of Counties and brought back to Oconee County, and it speaks volumes to the kind of person, because it takes a lot of time to do those extra things. So I want to thank him for his leadership on the board as well and what it has provided to Oconee County.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We really appreciate it. You know, y'all are welcome to call me anytime, any member, anytime. We're always available.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just say, you know, I've been working with the Association of Counties probably, I mean, I went through the new member orientation probably back in 2014 or 2015, and then have been involved ever since. And I don't know of another organization, another nonprofit in the state of South Carolina that is more well-run and better stewards of the taxpayers' dollars and the members' dollars than the Association of Counties. So it speaks to the professionalism that y'all bring. I think the results that we're seeing in the legislature from the policy positions, the management of the workers' comp and the liability trust fund, I mean, the management of the budget, I mean, the quality of the education, every facet of the Association of Counties. I think y'all are doing a fantastic job, and keep up the good work. And, you know, I appreciate all that you've done, especially in these difficult times when when we, I'm sure Mr. Root has had questions, and we've all had questions of how to handle these things that are unprecedented. So thanks for coming up. I know it's a long drive, but we certainly appreciate y'all gracing us with your presence. And I hope you stay safe and COVID-free.
It's not as long when Josh is driving. It seems to be a lot faster than when I'm driving.
Any other comments?
I keep it on the speed limit until I get out.
All right.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, be safe.
We have a few action items, so we'll move into the discussion. I know we had some new citizens that came through. Did anybody want to sign up for a public comment on the rock quarry? If you can, anybody? I'll give, if you want to sign up, you can come right up here. Ms. Smith will sign you up.
You do, gotcha.
Discussion first.
Either way, if there's a hurry or need for the public comment to go first, I'm completely fine, flexible, absolutely either way.
We can go through with, that way you may answer some of the questions, and then we'll go through discussion after that, if that works.
Thank you. Well, I'll have to forgive my rushness on the PowerPoint. I had some technical difficulties earlier. Let me pull down mine as well. All right, where do I point it now? So last month, we had a matter come up under old business. Am I echoing? I have feedback talking. Nobody else hear feedback? Okay. Maybe I'll just talk quiet. So I asked to be able to present the information that we could obtain on the rock quarry for some data and analysis so that we could address any of the issues that anyone had with the rock quarry in a timely manner, and so that if there was action to be made on the quarry, that it was on the appropriate place on the agenda for council to do so. Just going to go ahead and briefly read the mission of the rock quarry statement. The mission of the Oconee County Quarry is to provide a safe environment for employees and those who utilize the facility. It is our objective to produce high-quality crushed stone product at a reasonable price, thereby participating in the stimulation of our local economy. We will continue to work diligently to meet or exceed the expectations of our governing body. The safety factor, I do want to say that there are several staff members here from the rock quarry. Everybody say hi. Hi. And I'm really glad they're all here. I know you had a long day, I know you had a long several months, so really glad to see you here. Even gladder to be able to report that y'all are part of that great statistic for the under the 1% for the workman's comp. And that's something to be proud of. The rock quarry mines granite and crushes it into various sized products. Once the county need for the crushed stone is met, the surplus is sold to citizens, businesses, and otherwise. The sale of quality product at reasonable price allows the quarry the opportunity to participate in the local economy. The quarry provides products, equipment, and expertise of skilled employees to assist other county departments as well. Just a brief history here of the quarry. The quarry was established in 1948, originally using inmate labor, picks, shovels, and mule-drawn carts were the first operatives at the quarry. The original intent for opening the quarry at the time was to be able to produce enough gravel, and that was pretty much the only thing they produced at the time. I don't think they had definitions of different types of stones then, simply for the maintenance of county roads. In 1979, Oconee County invested $750,000 via a bond issuance to do some capital upgrades at the quarry, and Mr. Crumpton, Tommy Crumpton, convinced Oconee County Council to allow him to hire additional staff. So the invaluable idea of marketing stone to the real estate developers, other construction companies, and private road developers began in 1979. Oconee County, up until the recent approval of the purchase for the Sandvik equipment, has continued to operate a lot of those same components that were purchased in 1979. Now, some of the components, internal pieces were replaced, the cams were replaced, the belts were replaced, the cones were always fixed. Wayne, I know you used to fix them way back then too. And that is part of the plant that you look at today when you come in and when you go around the first part of the curve. It looks like a big giant piece of rust, but it is not. That is Old Faithful, and that girl produced some rock. In the year 2000, the quarry was producing approximately 200 tons per hour. In 2005, after a cone upgrade, the plant production was 233 tons per hour. And today, after another upgrade, this one's significantly more expensive as times and money values change, the quarry is producing about 485 tons per hour. That is more than double what we were producing years ago. This year, we are looking at another year of an estimated $6 million in revenue for Oconee County. In 2002, Oconee County Council recognized the demand for rock could potentially become a burden for Oconee County government in the municipalities in which we provide stone. And I left it off the slide, but I hope it's in your written report here. So by Ordinance 2002-08, the county did include language that required the county to withhold a stockpile of certain products and authorize the limitation of sale, so that every person and citizen in Oconee County who may desire to make a purchase of rock from the quarry was able to do so as far as it was reasonable. Facing these demands even then in 2002, fast forward, of course, you're 16 years ahead, and you guys were all here, I believe, at the time. Anybody not here at the time where we had the Sandvik meetings and the mobile crushing equipment? I think everybody was sitting here. Yes? So 2 years ago, of course, we had the internal controls. We reviewed everything, and we started looking at the purchase for a different type of plant for the quarry. The Tertiary stationary plant was no longer of use to the county anymore. The expense of repairing the old plant had become a burden at the quarry, and knowing that it had reached almost the end of its life, Oconee County Council voted to purchase a new mobile equipment plant, which you all know this is a mobile, meaning it can move around. The mobile equipment can be configured in multiple ways and move around inside the quarry. What is stopping the mobile plant from moving around inside the quarry today is the fact that the bottom part of the quarry and where the mobile plant has to go, we must expand because the plant itself is kind of large. It's enormous, actually. I still want to invite you all to come out. And as we move forward, in the first 6 months of operating this plant, now remember we got it in August, September last year. I think we started operations. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong back there. There's a lot of fact checkers back here.
It was not at full capacity at that time. It was closer to the end of the year.
No, December. Correct, but we were running.
December 19th.
December 19th. Fact checking, I like it. So the quarry has experienced some challenges since we set it up in December. And remember, today is June 2nd, so it hasn't even been 6 months since then. The quarry experienced a genset failure for the cone due to a faulty stator. The genset failure caused a flash that could have happened in shipping. There was a nor'easter at the time. Am I saying that right? Nor'easter? Big storm? Hurricane. hurricane. Those are hurricane and shipping. Some of things could have settled during shipping that we wouldn't have known until we put it into production and tested the limits of it. The Sandvik provided a portable generator that was used to get up and running, which is still on site now, but that's still the generator that we had some difficulties with last week. Various plant parts have been repaired or replaced by Sandvik since the plant was delivered to the county. Those replacements do include the screeners, communication tables, and an electronic sensor that controls the surveyor. A screen monitor was under factory recall and was out of spec. The monitor is operational but does limit observation. A switch has been replaced on the electric breaker to be upsized for the rock at the hammer and the jaw. And all the while, we're facing the challenges of having new equipment, and this is a list of the new equipment here, and how it works in conjunction. So we're still using some older equipment, if you'll look on the top of the slide. Wayne, I think you're here. Well, you can look wherever you want. Can you see it up on your screen over there?
Don't worry about it.
And in spite of having all of this equipment, from time to time, one piece or another, and because the rest of these pieces work together, may stall out, may have a clog in a belt, may have a screener issue, may have a loading issue. And remember that the quarry is operated by human beings. Human beings often have more issue than equipment. Human beings, 18 of them are running this facility at this time, and the loss of one of them, including anyone calling in sick or someone stumbling their toe or an accident happening or any number of things, sets a wrench in the machinery that may slow down production for the day and cause wait times and or loading times or any other kind of issues. So what we're looking at here is the types of rock that we produce and the price per ton for the production of that. Our column is here on the left. I probably should have checked this color in here. It's a little bit hazy. Sorry about that, y'all. And the column on the right, of course, is our local retail profit. I'm not going to go down each one of the items singularly. I think you all have some idea because I've mentioned this in the past, and I'm not an advocate for increasing Oconee County rock quarry prices for Oconee County businesses or citizens. But this is what businesses and citizens would be paying should they not want to wait for us or should we run out of product at any given time. If you'll see here, their price per ton for different products for Oconee County. Most of them are less than half price. A lot of them are 30% of the retail price in the surrounding quarries. And despite the price per ton being half, we're still making record sales. Even at $11 and $12 a ton, we're still hitting records. So here are our tons per year and the revenue per year. Again, sorry about the color, y'all. I didn't realize how light this was going to be on the screen. You can see, obviously, the numbers keep increasing. And of course, I do want to make a notation here, and there are some asterisks here, and it's also included in your written report, that the numbers for 1920, of course, are not complete because we're still currently in 1920, and those numbers will be updated after June 30th when the final numbers come in for the year, end of the year. So as we're looking at the tonnage produced at the quarry and the revenue history that we're looking at the quarry, we went from $2.9 million a year to $6.2 million a year in 1 decade. You find me another business that can give you that sort of return, and I think that we should buy that too. I think that we should create an enterprise fund for that too. This is actually a picture that Craig took early one morning. It was really, really cold. And over the winter times, we do have some wait times because one of the issues that we still face and we still have, and we can blame COVID, we can blame the shipping, we can blame the tariffs. I mean, there are 5 different issues that we've had. You all know that you approved the purchase for the electrical equipment and the components for us to be connected to electricity last fall. It's still not here. And right now we're running on generators. And when it gets really cold outside, as it was in the winter when we had the longest wait times, anyone who has ever messed with anything that runs on diesel knows that you either have to plug it up or warm it up. And that takes time. So this was taken in the wintertime when Craig came in at the crack of a dark 30. And I really, really, really love this picture. It doesn't show the enormity of the piece of equipment, but it does show the entirety of the piece of equipment. Are there any questions that you guys have?
Yes, I have a question. So how many trucks come from outside of Oconee County into our rock quarry to get rocked?
30% is our estimation.
It would seem to me that the taxpayers in Oconee County that are coming to get rocked should get it at the price we currently are charging. If we got folks coming from Marlboro County and Orangeburg County, they're not taxpayers in Oconee County.
You are correct.
We should raise the price.
We have an in-county and out-of-county price.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's a possibility.
We'd keep it still below the market to keep them coming. We'd still keep it below the market to keep them coming. But if we're selling rock at 30% market, we could sell it at 60% market for people coming from Orangeburg.
Perfect thought. Anyone else?
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for those that work at the rock quarry. I think people don't understand how big of an industry this is. And it's going to have some hiccups, and if you own a business, you understand that. And it's going to have its challenges. But what I've seen a group do, and I don't know all of them, I met several of them, tonight, is to continue to problem solve and try to learn this piece of equipment. There's a lot of things that this piece of equipment can do, and we knew that the learning curve when we were purchasing it is one of the things that I was a little bit concerned with, and wanted to make sure that everyone was understanding that a mobile equipment's a lot different than what that was. I don't know anything about rocks. I just know that the amount that we produce, and it took a long time to get several pieces of the equipment moving forward, and I think people think when we approve stuff up here at council, it's magically out there the next day. And these are long processes, especially for the amount of money that's been invested in there. And I'm upset about some of the downtime that the machine had, but I'm not upset at the people that are continuing to do their best effort to figure out what's going on and move forward. As we continue to make the investment in the rock quarry with land purchases, this is, in my opinion, besides our people, one of the most valuable assets that we have to the citizens, because it does fund back to and keep our taxes extremely low. So it's great seeing those numbers. And again, we weren't allowed to produce the amount that this piece of equipment will be able to produce and should be able to produce in the upcoming year. So I'm really excited to see that 2021 number moving forward. And I actually have not been over there to see the equipment because I want to stay out of everybody's hair, and we had enough people running through there. But I am very appreciative of those continuing to do that. And I know you're working on the problems, and it's something that you would like to be fixed as well. And so.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know how many of you up here got a dump truck, or even got a CDL license. I didn't know anything about rock crushing until I moved up here, and Tommy Crumpton drug me into that thing, started me learning from the ground up. I worked at Bad Creek, worked on their equipment up there, built parts for them. What we have here, if you make a bad investment, you have to say, we made a bad investment. Stanvic is very popular in Europe, all over Europe. They're very, very popular. Here in the United States, not so. We got to crush it. It constantly breaks down. Every time I get a call, it's an excuse. Generator failure. Well, the generator failed 3 times. Well, that's 3 separate failures. I made a comment last council meeting about we got trucks backed up waiting. And I was told, well, the scale, when you check in, you check out, we've got the time when you come in and come out of the plant. I pulled part of my brother's tickets. I told my brother, I said, that military truck's designed to run at 45 miles an hour, and you son of a gun, according to this ticket, You going through that scale, getting loaded and back out the gate in 45 seconds. I've got no tickets here. One time, 6 seconds. I said, what'd you do in 6 seconds? You were late for getting to lunch? We got, the problem we got a plant that breaks down. Well, it breaks down. So we gotta realize, the one thing in any kind of quarrying operation, I've been at it, thanks to Tommy Crumpton, I got drug into it a long time ago. Dust, vibration, and moisture, electronics don't like. They just naturally don't like it. And this thing is breaking down. There ain't no learning curve, we got a breakdown curve. I know about the drilling, because my company makes all the parts for the Ferrocaba drill. All 13 of them. So I know what it takes to drill. I know what it takes to load a shot, because Tommy used to do some work off-site blasting, and he got me and my brother Keller to help load some shots when he had his powder license. So I know what it takes to load a shot. We need to look hard. We got to get some management, people that know how to do it. Maybe we need to look at all the strip mines closed down in Tennessee, Kentucky, bring some people in from coal mining. Coal mining is the same as rock strip mining. I talked to Nat Clore. Nat Clore used to own West Union Hardwood. Now he owns two or three coal mines in Tennessee. Maybe we need to look at some expertise management up there. What equipment are they using? It's basically the same thing. Is this Stanvik? We got to ask our question. Is this Stanvik thing, maybe it's not work as advertised. Every time it breaks down, I can't blame Ms. Brock. I ain't about to blame her. We got an excuse, not the quarry personnel. It's Stanvik, not the quarry personnel. It's Stanvik. Well, this didn't work, and this didn't work. And you got an excuse over here, and you got an excuse over there. And we can't blame our local people. We can blame the guy that sold it to us. Now, the only thing is, we run a lot of overtime out there. We working our county personnel on all the breakdowns. So we run it up overtime. It ain't their fault. They're trying to fix the darn thing. So we can't blame them. We certainly can't blame the administrator. Who's the blame go back to? Stanvik. Stanvik is now split. We signed the contract when they were all one big happy family. And like so many corporate things, when they split, they don't know each other anymore. They split off. The cutting tool division, which is everything else in the machine business and other things in industry. The other is their material handling division. Once again, it's very popular in Europe, not here in the United States. So this is some of the things we need to look at. But let's don't place the blame on the administrator. Let's place the blame where it needs to be placed. This piece of equipment that ain't working and keeps breaking down. Ain't no sense in blaming the rock people. Blame the person who made the thing and sold us a bill of goods. We need to send it back. Either go with ask Vulcan, Hanson, Sloan, anybody else. Who you using to crush with? McNeely. Ask Bill McNeely. What type of jaw do you have? Where are the parts available? Go back and ask these people, what is your maintenance record? Talesmith, ask them. Somebody, what are your maintenance record? What kind of service did you get? All these big people, they're making just mountains of rock. Maybe we need to look at this. But certainly not a learning curve. It's a breakdown curve. And it's not the administrator, and it's not the rock crusher personnel fault. I don't think Mickey or any of those boys go out there breaking that thing down on purpose. You can't blame them. The thing is not suitable for what we're doing. Thank you.
If I may, please. Mr. McCall, on the very day that I was asked that I asked to place this on the council agenda, we broke a record. The very next day, we broke another record. The very next day, we broke another one. It is making rock. It is making a lot of rocks.
And you broke down how many times this week?
Once, not this week. This is a carryover from last week. It's been broken down. And when you talk about these issues, you act like the plant's one big giant thing. It's almost like a car though. The engine could be fine, but with a flat tire, it wouldn't matter if the engine's fine or not.
Yeah, it's a daisy chain. You got it all hooked
It
together.
is a daisy chain, I'll give it, but the old one was too, except you could bypass certain things.
Yeah, we could bypass, we had two cones.
Right.
We could switch between the cones.
Right, but it's making rock, I'll tell you that. It may not be making rock like every single day or but if we keep hitting record productions and record numbers, and please don't take this the wrong way, but what's wrong with it seems to be a lot of people's sudden expert opinions. What's happening though is we're seeing it on paper, dollar for dollar, ton for ton, rolling out of that quarry every day. Dollar for dollar, ton for ton, it is making records. The very single day that I was asked.
Then
But
why
I-
is it broke down all the time?
Because it's a machine.
It's a machine. Wayne, when you came to Seneca with your crane to help remove trees, what happened?
The blue hydraulic line, we got a second crane in reserve.
But did it put you out for the day?
Long enough we get back to the shop and switch records.
You didn't come back that day though.
Huh?
Remember, Jonathan called me that afternoon and said you'd broken another line.
Mr. Murphy had a case of the hungries attack him.
Okay, but my point is, you had a piece of equipment that you brought to work on a project.
Yeah,
That piece of equipment did not perform as you thought deemed necessary for it to perform, to work on the project in a way that you had committed to work on that project.
yeah, and I was doing it for free too.
We were all
We
doing
do
it
it for
for free.
$11 a ton. Pretty damn close to free. So my point is, if something breaks, you have to fix it. The other point of that is, and again, I'm gonna repeat this, because we've had, how many retirements? Somebody tell me. 3. Significant, I know, and we've got 2 more coming up. One I'm not super happy about, but we're gonna have some struggles. And there's nothing we're gonna be able to do about some of those struggles, because even if I post that job tomorrow, if I posted it last week or last month, it's gonna take time to get people in. Do I believe there are people out there that can come in and work with this team and be a great team leader and all of us work together and get some more rocks crushed? Absolutely. But Mr. McCall, when you talked about the equipment failure, you had one yourself. You experienced your very self, and you had to stop what you were intending on doing that day to make the repair on your piece of equipment. So it seems that would be understandable to you.
Nowhere $7 million of taxpayer money.
Actually, it's enterprise money. It's customer money. And there's plenty of that monies that could have been transferred back to Oconee County. The taxpayers do not pay for the Oconee County rock quarry. It's quite the opposite, actually. The rock quarry brings actually, since we are considering adopting this current year's budget for the next coming fiscal year, the transfer would go back down to $750,000, which is over $1 million. It's not tax dollars.
There were all these truck drivers here complaining to me.
All
If everything's so peachy, then I shouldn't even be opening my
And
mouth.
Randy, you can get up and talk, I don't mind. So I've never met you before.
Well, I didn't come to fuss or point fingers at nobody.
We'll do
But I would
public
like to know
comments.
why that we have, what's the warranty on this thing?
We, December,
No, we're within the warranty.
Can I
We have
talk,
it,
Mr. Brown? Can I talk, please?
I'm
Hang on
sorry,
one
Mr.
second.
Chairman, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, we
I'm
can't, we
making it out
can't.
of order. But I
Yeah,
guess my
just,
point there
just
is
for,
that I
just for
wanna
a
make sure
second,
that I
we'll finish
wasn't
up with that. I just want to make sure, because I'm actually going to give, based on the time, and I'm fine to, if council's okay, we'll do unlimited on the public comment. That way, if we want to do some question and answer, we'll give everybody a chance to talk if council's okay with that. I just want to make sure everything had that. So, any other council member comments at this time? I know one of the reasons, most of the research had been done on the actual style that was wanting to be purchased before I came in, and actually, Mr. Hart came in, and Mr. Elliott, I don't think, was here when they were doing the research of it. And the biggest thing I looked at is how much downtime was the other one. The pictures that I saw where they were having to crawl down inside to repair, the amount of repairs that Mr. McCall and his team were doing on the other one, just trying to get it up and going and continue up with production. The amount of truck drivers that left Oconee County because you were never getting rock. That's what I got complaints on. With this one, I've gotten concerns of, what's happening and understanding when is this equipment going to get here? When's all of it going to get here? If I'm dissatisfied, that's what I'm dissatisfied with, and that's not our fault. And honestly, it took a long time to get everything in here, get it hooked up together. So if we did anything wrong, it was showcasing how quickly this thing was going to be up and running. And, with the warranty, I've kind of reviewed that as well. I know Mr. Root has talked about that. The warranty, we're not anywhere close to it. I think can be a good piece of equipment. I think it will be a good piece of equipment. And I think all the research that went on and the council members that sat in these seats before had the initial review of that and felt like it was the right purchase to make. And I still stand by that purchase. I think there's some other piece of equipment that have continued to be purchased that will help speed that up. And I think once we get all this up, is it going to break down? Of course it is. It's going to break down 5 years from now. It's going to break down, do I think it should break down like it is? No. But you buy a new car and you're on your way home from the dealership and it breaks down. That's happened to me before. So I still own that car because it got fixed. So things do break down and humans do make mistakes. But I think from here we have a group that's working together. And unless that group comes forward and says, we don't want this piece of equipment anymore, we need to work on that back, I think it's the wrong choice to make because I'm not the one operating the plant. I'm not going to make a decision to send a plant back if they don't come to you and say, we can't operate this plant. And that was the one thing that I asked a question actually in that meeting, is this the plant that y'all have done the research on, and this is a plant that y'all think is the best thing for Oconee County and the citizens? And the answer to that question was yes. And I haven't heard any different. And I have not received but 2 phone calls from people, and that was after that. And the one thing is can we get a better estimate on when there will be rock if I've got a project going on and I need to order a specific ton of rock? Can we get some stuff online so we see supply and demand? Okay, I agree with that. I don't go pick up rock every day. I do not have a CDL and I do not have a dump truck. I have a dump trailer if that counts. But I'm not the one that's receiving a ton of phone calls. If you want to call me, you can call me. 710-6141. You can call me. If you got an issue, I'm here. I haven't got the phone calls that these 2 gentlemen have gotten.
I've gotten several.
So,
I've gotten
and
several.
I'm not saying they
I'm
didn't.
not denying that we have issues here and there. There's no denying that, but I think we can find solutions.
I agree with that. Any other council member
Just harping
comments?
on issues doesn't seem to be productive.
So we'll move into public comment. Again, if council's okay, we'll allow those that wish to speak. I don't have a limit. Obviously, we have other things that are going on. Mr. Barnett?
In another life, I worked equipment division for many years for Daniel International. It was combined with Fluor, called Fluor Daniel. Fluor gobbled it up and mismanaged, and now this Daniel name is gone, and the Fluor name amounts to practically nothing. And at one point, when we were short of work, I worked down at Russell Dam, subcontractor for the Corps of Engineers. 2 quarries were operating there. And equipment in a quarry flat takes a beating. All of it. The people take a beating. And I'm hearing a whole lot of complaints, whole lot of accusations. And from what I'm hearing, you need somebody out there in charge that is not micromanaged. And that job does not need to be political. These employees do not need to be political. This is a production facility, and it produces an income for this county. And if properly managed, it can produce even more. You need somebody that knows a little something about routine maintenance. I mean, it's just a whole lot involved here. And I don't think anybody can blame these employees because this equipment changes from year to year, actually from day to day. You know, the improvements, or they'll call it improvements. I mean, some of it's not improved that much. But all of this is a moving target. And I'm hearing a whole lot of talking heads that know absolutely nothing about it getting themselves involved. You might want to stop talking and listen, okay? And, you know, it needs to be handled to produce rock, and you need somebody there in charge that knows how to respect the employees. You know, it's all about people. And this equipment is far too valuable, costs too much, and maintenance costs too much for it to be mismanaged. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Gary Wood.
Thank you. I'm kind of embarrassed to come up here with all the thing else that's going on in our country and our state and our world today. I mean, our stuff is just a little old bitty junk, but it's ours. And I got no problem with employees at the quarry. I've always got answers. Anytime I call, I get an answer. Now, I had an incident the other day that was kind of uncalled for from an employee of the quarry, and it was handled. And that's the best I could ask for. Now, equipment breaking down, I own my own equipment, so the only person I got to answer to is me. And I know what happens if I get something that keeps breaking down and if I can't get it serviced, it don't stay on my yard long, it's gone in a minute, because I can't operate with that. And this may be the best crusher in the world, I don't know. It may produce 4,000 tons a day. But how much of that rock was already stockpiled? Does anybody know that? Was all that come off of the new crusher, or was it stockpiled or stockpiled? Because I went out there to get a load of riprap, and I got mostly number 3s one day. And you know, that's okay, but the customer, he don't understand that when he's wanting 8-inch riprap and he's got number 3s mixed in with it. He don't understand that. And you know, I don't know the time limit when this crusher breaks down, how long it takes to get fixed. I don't know the time limit on all this stuff that's not here now, but it seems to me like that should have been thought of a long time ago before it was ever ordered. Should have had an answer right then, when is it all gonna be here before I tear my other crusher down, when's that gonna be here? Because I can't stop doing what I'm doing. The people just won't go for it. There's somewhere else they can go. It may cost $25 more a ton, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I just think that people, when you're dealing with people, you're dealing with some fragile things. You got, right now, everybody's short-tempered. They don't understand everything else that's going on around them. And you know, a good leader, and y'all are all leaders, a leader's job is to solve a problem. That's what he does. Whether he produced the problem, whether he inherited the problem, or whether he was part of the problem himself, he is supposed to fix it. And I think that's where we're lacking. And the employees are hard to find, and good ones are impossible to find. You may think there's somebody out there that can handle this, but good luck. I can't even find anybody that can operate a rake. I've never seen the employment situation the way it is today. It is really terrible. And I know y'all guys face a hard, I'd hate to know that I had to face everything y'all have got in this thing, but I tell you what, a man told me one time, he said, if you try to be everything to everybody, you'll end up being nothing to nobody. But y'all don't have that ability to do that. You gotta be everything to everybody because you're a public servant. And all I ask is when this quarry's down is communication. Why? I didn't know about all this electrical issue. I just know when you'd send a truck out there, you might stay gone an hour, and you'd say, well, I had to wait on the 57 rock. They didn't have any. And, I don't get too upset about that, but after a while, you do wonder what's going on. But again, the employees are terrific. I mean, I have no problem with them guys. And I just wish that if you just had to sit down and talk more, sit down and communicate more with the construction people that's coming in out there. I mean, I've been doing this since 1972. I helped move some of the crushing equipment back out there when they opened the crusher back up, and it's been there a long time, and it's a plus to this county. And if you put up the price of rock to all these other people, they ain't gonna come. They just won't. They'll go somewhere else because it costs money to run a truck 50 miles, and that's the reason they come here is because they can get the rock at a reasonable price. But if they had to pay what they pay elsewhere, they'd go elsewhere. They wouldn't do that extra expense. But I appreciate your time and listening to me, and I know my opinion don't mean a whole lot because I'm an expert in nothing. But I do know people, and I do know you got to treat them with kid gloves. And if you just let them know what's going on. If you're having a problem, if you made a mistake, admit it. Don't sugarcoat it. Admit it. Thank you.
Mr. Wood, will you state your name for the record?
Gary Wood.
Thank you, sir. Richard Marcingill.
My name is Richard Marcingill. I'm just a farmer. I don't haul rock every day like all these other people do. I just want to be able to go over there, back my truck up to the pile that I want, the type of stone that I want, and get loaded and get out. Like I said, I don't make any bones about it, but it's been a month since I've been over there. So I said I'm a farmer. I've been in the hayfields for the last month. And when we go in there, I go in there and I know several people that work over there at the crusher. And they say it's the only plant like it in the world. I mean, they're proud of it. And but every time I go there, it seems like it's down. I went over there one time, and they were hauling the large stone from on top where they had stockpiled on top of the hill. They were running it through the old rock crusher, and they were crushing it into a 1-inch stone, pea gravel, dust, and several other things. They were taking a product that was already ready for sale and recrushing it in the old crusher so they could keep trucks running. And I looked at that pile of stone and I said, well, that's not going to last long. I mean, they'll be out of that stone next. And I've caught at a couple of mountains of stone over there over the years. As you start down the hill, it was 2 mountains of stone. I call it the Martin Rock because it was crushed over there during the Martin era over there. And it's been there for a couple of years. Well, it's been 6 months since I've been up there or longer. And when I drove in over there and went down the hill there, I was surprised at how much of that stone was missing, had been sold since the new plant was put in production. And during the week of Easter, and you can check the records because they hired a crane to come in, they had to bring an outside crane in to do some lifting on the new plant. The old plant was down and the new plant was down both. So it's a mobile plant, so they had separated it and taken part of it out there and was running I call it again, the Martin stone out of the stockpiles, been stockpiled over the years. And they were turning it into a pea gravel, a 1 inch stone, sand, asphalt sand. They did that for a week and a half there when I was hauling rock. Again, I was having to do this as the weather was loud because I was hauling the rock across the pasture. And when it was so wet during that time, I'd have to just wait. But since last November, I've got weight tickets. I just bought a small stack. I've been over there probably 40 or 50 times getting stone, dust, rock for my farm projects. And whenever this article came out in the paper a month or so ago, it made it sound like there's not an issue with the crusher. There's not an issue with trucks waiting 45 minutes. As Wayne pointed out a few minutes ago, earlier in the meeting, they said that they went by weight tickets and trucks wasn't waiting 45 minutes. Well, that's wrong because these weight tickets only tell the time the truck is sitting on the scale. And I've got weight tickets if anybody wants to see it.
Well, how are you weighing in?
I drive in the main gate, I go down to the bottom of the
An
hill.
account?
Beg your pardon?
You have an account?
They've got us, so like I say, all I have to do
So
is.
they have your tear weight stored?
Yeah, they have it
Okay.
stored.
See, that's what I was
And
confused
so,
about.
the truck, the number's on the truck.
I got you.
They don't know
Got
where
your
the
weight
truck,
stored.
they don't know how many trucks is in there. When you come on the
Right.
scales,
But normally, when
Yeah.
you would pull in, we would weigh you because you would be put into the computer system. But if
Well-
you had a record tear weight, then I
yeah,
understand.
well, I said, that's on, I've got a record, tear weight on the truck.
Thank
And, that we've been using this truck for years over there. But,
And what are the dates on, can I have copies of those?
oh yeah, you can have copies of it. I just brought a small sample of them. I got
Okay.
30 or 40, but
But on those, all of those you waited more than 45 minutes?
no. This won't tell you how long you wait.
Right.
This only tells you the time you sit on
I
the
was just
scale.
looking for a time frame, like if
Yeah.
it was a certain time of year or
Oh,
something.
well, this was in April. This was time these tickets, I had my wife pull. I told her just give me a stack of tickets. It was during April, whenever I told you the plant was down and separated and they were selling, they
Right.
wasn't crushing any stone in either plant. They were just rescreening the stockpile of stone that was already there that was crushed. I don't know, they can tell you how long that pile of stone has been there. Beg your pardon?
You're absolutely right.
Okay, this was stockpile stone that y'all were able to sell and get on the books that had been stockpiled. It's been stockpiled for several years ago. Several years. Yes, they were separated, they were doing that to keep trucks running.
Right.
One time, I went over there, this young lady was sitting on the scale that day, and I needed to figure out something up, and they said, we don't have any. And so she took down my name and phone number, and she said, I'll call you when we get back up. Well, I don't know what the time frame was, several days or a week, whatever it was. She called me and said, we got the plant back up and running. But trucks are leaving without stone over there.
Yeah.
Trucks are
At
waiting.
that time, I know they were. But I
Trucks
hope they're
are
not
waiting
now.
45 minutes. I'm sure you get crushed because I pulled up there before. The last time I was over there, I pulled up one Saturday morning and they were running the plant and I was on 1 inch stone. Well, I knew the guy that was driving the truck next to me, and he'd been sitting there waiting for it to get enough load. So I sat there and waited also while they were running the new plant and they were crushing stone. There's a problem with the plant. I don't know what it is, but like I say, it's been a month since I've been over there. I live close enough to the crusher, I can hear it running. That's how close. Like I say, it's according to how the clouds and the winds blowing, and like so, some days it sounds like everybody over there has a hammer beating on rock, and the other days I can't hear it. And so, but I've been hearing that the generator run, and I think to myself, why in the world are we running a generator over there? I said, how many people have generators at their house? They can buy electricity cheaper and you can make it yourself. I said, between the diesel.
Components are coming from Italy and
Yeah.
they're still not here because of the size of the wiring and the harnesses.
And, but I couldn't figure out why the plant is still running on the generator since it was approved last year sometime, last fall sometime, to install the electrical upgrade, or install electricity to it. Again, I don't have any problem with the crusher personnel. They've always treated me with respect and loaded me, and like I say, there's no order to load trucks over there, but they try to watch the truck and try to do the first in, first out truck to do it. But there is an issue with the downtime on the plants, and it needs to be addressed. And this conversation earlier that the taxpayers are not paying for the plant, I bet you the taxpayers are responsible for that, what, $6 or $7 million bond that was issued. I bet the taxpayers are responsible for that versus
There's
the
enough in
enterprise.
fund balance to cover that bond 2 times, sir,
But,
created by the rock quarry.
but it bothers me. I mean, the rock crusher is an asset.
Absolutely it is.
It's an asset. And like I say, I believe I saw some of the information that they generated like a $1.5 million to the county budget. I mean, I want to say that to $2 million. I mean, the taxpayers are paying for the crusher in a way, in some ways up there. If you look at that road coming in and out from the rock crusher back to 183 over there, you can see the repairs that's been made on it, the places that still needs to be repaired. And since the upgrade was made on the Hess Highway years ago. But the taxpayers are footing some of the bill for the crusher. And it's an asset, and I want to keep it. And the only thing I want to do is just go over there and back up to the pile of stone I want and load and go. And so.
And that's a luxury that we have here, that there is supply and demand.
That's the reason I wanted to come up here and speak tonight, because the article in the paper made it seem like no one would acknowledge there was a problem. And I'm saying more than that. There's more people involved. Like I say, again, I'm a farmer, and I don't have to rely on keeping that truck running and going to a project. And because when I was going over there, I lived close enough that I could use several different stones for the projects I was working on. And to get to Mr. Elliott's comment earlier, that I think there should be a surcharge for out of county title trucks that's loaded over there. And another gentleman disagreed with that because when I go over there, I see trucks from Georgia, I see them from Anderson, they're coming there because the stone's cheap.
Absolutely.
And I know about the putting the truck on the road running 40 miles to get stone, but there should be a surcharge. And the one other thing that I see when I go up there, I've seen people hauling stone and rock over there, everything from a Cadillac to a farm tractor over the years. And I've been going over there for 20 years, and I see little men and women back up some of those piles and open the boot of a Cadillac, put a towel down, something, and get some stone and put in their Cadillac and haul it. I see all kind of dump trailers, trucks, anything. I send them 5-gallon buckets, anything that they can carry stone out of there. They carry it. It's an asset, and I want to keep it. And I want it to run the way it's designed to run. The employees shouldn't have to fight the plant every day to keep it running. I mean, there should be repairs. I know there's repairs, but when I go over there, and every time I go up there, a lot of times I go up there, it'd be down. And when it's running, there is a mountain of stone coming out of it. But I've seen so much downtime on it, just in my experience since last November when I started for these latest projects.
Thank you.
And I'd say again, it's an asset. I have no complaints about the employees over there. It's an equipment issue that needs to be addressed. Be it boxing it up and sent back to the manufacturer or whatever, it needs to be addressed. To keep it as an asset for the county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Randy Cobb.
Absolutely, fire. Can I talk from here?
You got to get close to the green light. You can stand in the middle if you want to.
It don't matter.
You come sit up here if you want to.
No, I sure don't. No, I don't like being in front of people. I never have been a public speaker. And I didn't come to point fingers at anybody. The rock crushers helped me over the years. I hauled out close to 100,000 ton out of there. I was late making my bills. They worked with me. I've been late getting there. They waited on me. But if they gonna have to push this crusher, it seems like it's uphill all the way. I got a 305 Traco. It's broke down on me 3 times since I've had it. I can't depend on that thing. We was down at Borg Warner. They was in a disaster response on that thing. My link belt tore up. Same situation. If I ain't got time, or I can't get it fixed, they'll tell me to get it out of there, bring something else. With that saying that, with equipment like we was talking about a while ago, things is gonna break down. And we all know that they are. But it's a consistency of it. How long does it stay broke down? And like the fellow was talking about a while ago about the paper, what it said. We called, I talked to you, and we were down at Borg Warner. Kevin Moore, he had called. Like he said, he's a farmer. He likes to go get his gravel. Well, when I send the truck, it took us all day to haul 3 loads of clean stone. You know, the trucks do wait. You know, it is a problem. And when you're paying a man by the hour, and you waiting on that truck to get back so that you can get done, then I've got a track hole sitting there, I've got 3 laborers, another operator, you know, and I got my truck sitting there for, you know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I mean, I know, and I ain't blaming none of yours. But it seemed like before, and I know you said we was breaking record numbers. Where's the rock going? I mean, I know there's a lot of trucks are coming.
They're selling it before 9 o'clock in the morning.
I know it. But all that big mountain of rock that he was talking about, Mickey and them was out there running a strainer, or that screener, to get 57.
That mobile screener.
Well, the 57 that we're getting now is dirty. It's got a lot of different type material in it. The 57 we used to get out of the oak quarry, or oak jaw, clean as a pin. You go get a load of it, go get a load of McNeely's and dump them out side by side, and you could cover that pile of McNeely's up with it for the same weight. But it's dirtier now, it's not the same material. You know, I didn't come to fuss at anybody, but there is a problem with something, and I don't know what it is. And like I said, the people's fine. But I asked a question a while ago about the warranty on this thing. You know, give it time, get it worked out. But if it's gonna stay tore up all the time, then they need to send that sucker back and get something that you can get parts for. If they've ever made a piece of equipment that they only made one of and you can't get parts for, I wound up with it. You had one.
We joked it.
Well, I wound up with it. You can't find parts for it. The company went out of business, they dissolved it. I got a part out of Iowa. And for me, that's the other side of the world, because I'm right here in South Carolina. But if that thing's on the other side of the world, and we haven't tried to get parts for it, we need something that's dependable. And I mean, I don't know a thing about the crusher, don't know a thing. But I know the more you move material and the more you handle it, the more it costs you. If you having to go up there and get rock to bring down to put into a crusher, just so you can keep the things going, and them boys are working hard. I mean, they're running as hard as they can go to try to keep something going and try to keep trucks going. But if you haven't handled that material, if I haul dirt, that's what we do, mostly dirt. Dirt, trees, stumps, brush, occasional house every once in a while. But if we handle it 15 times, we ain't making no money. If they having to keep handling their rock so many times, they're not making money. I mean, that's, you know. And you talk about the tickets. Well, I got one here that says where we come in was 11:34, and when we went out, it was 12:02. Now, I had a time when we went in, but we don't wave when we go in, so I don't know how they got the time. I mean, the time's on the ticket. You mean, you can have the ticket, but
I was just wondering what the date on it was. Is it around the same time that we were having issues with the waiting?
5:26, but, you know, like I said, I didn't come to point fingers, I didn't come to blame nobody. Like I said, I like them people to crusher. We got up here and fought for them to buy that crusher, or to buy a crusher. I kinda hope it wasn't the one that we bought, that we was fighting for, but, you know, this is part of this is my county. I've lived and worked here all my life. My sons are doing the same thing. We got to keep that thing going, but we want a good product. We want a good machine. I hope they can get the bugs worked out of it before the warranty runs out on that thing. Because it'd be a long ways to have to go over there to whoop somebody because they sold you something bad. But that's all I got to say.
Well, if you actually look at the production of the machine, the original specs is well more than what we're even showing here. So the hope is this is the tip of the iceberg for production. And, our hope is we can continue to be at maximum production and where we're stockpiling stone. So when and if it does break or when there is maintenance or something like that, that we continue to have stone. So, but those are the things, and Ms. Brock has shared with me on the difference that what this crusher can do that the other one couldn't do. And so while I look at both sides of it, I agree and understand there is a problem. And I hope, just like I said, here's a guy that bought a car and it broke down on the way home from the dealership. You've been through the same thing. This is how you make a living, and people are dependent on this crusher to work. We're very blessed to have it in the county, and I know you were the one that we had a good conversation with, that why it's important to keep the rock quarry in here. And I agree with that. It is the most important. It is also important to invest in equipment moving forward and invest in the people that are there and to, continue to do that, because we're working everything. I'm not satisfied that the pieces of equipment aren't here, and I don't know maybe you keep the other one running and you keep it a secret that we have the new equipment running so nobody's dependent on that. But it's kind of like the broadband. Everybody has in mind what the broadband was supposed to be, and it hasn't exceeded what we in our minds think it should. And I agree with both sides of it. I agree that this is not doing what it should do, and it better. Like you said,
you need reliability,
right,
and you need dependability. I mean, this thing's a sports car, is what they said. I mean, they ain't cranked it up. But I'll tell you this is a quick story. I had an old Cutlass. It was just like an Amble. You could drive that sucker, go anywhere you wanted to go. Well, I got the idea, I wanted to put one of them big cams in it and do all this kind of stuff and make it fast. Well, I wound up walking more than I got to ride. I put that thing back like it was, and I still drove it for many years. That thing's good if it's fast. But you got to have somebody to drive. I mean, it's got to be drove.
Right.
I mean, the space shuttle's a dandy thing. I can't drive it. You got to know how to run something, do something, And I'm not saying that they don't. But Sandvik ought to have somebody that does. I mean, if I sell something, I ought to be able to go out there and say, this is how you do it. I could sell somebody a Traco. I get out there and show them how it works. I said, this is how it does. And they'd be like, oh man, that really works good. And then they get on it and they couldn't hit the ground. But you stay with them and show them. And I hear that they still out there Williams, ain't they? Well, can they not drive it? I mean, somebody's going to have to match gas on something.
Well, I think all of us, Mr. Barnett brought up something about too many people trying to I have a step foot at the rock quarry for that reason. That's not my job.
But I send my trucks.
So, and it shouldn't be, and I agree with you. So I think we got the right people that's trying to understand what it is. I think continued issues, working out those things. I think there's several things that we can continue to do to assist with that. I mean, every single person sitting up here, I promise you we're paying attention to it. So just because, we're not, driving down in there, we're paying attention to it.
Well, like I said, I ain't been there in months. Well, I don't know, I went and hauled a load. I think I hauled a load the other day, I don't remember. We have drivers in and out. But, just like today, I spent all day over on the job, waiting on a septic tank truck. The septic tank truck broke down. It was supposed to be out at 9 o'clock. We set the tank at 1 o'clock. I was covering it up till I remembered we had to come out here to this thing. So it's still sitting there, not completely covered up. And I know you're gonna have breakdowns with anything. But I just wish, they'd look at this thing and see, and it's, get the people that owns it to stretch her out and let her run, bust her off. But I know there's more trucks hauling than what they used to be. But it seemed like with that old crusher, they was always rock piled up. I mean, there was a mountain. Like he said, a mountain. It's gone. So, but that was all I had.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Can you please state your name for the record?
He did.
Randy Todd.
Okay.
Anybody else?
You need a minute?
Yes, sir. Come forward.
I'm Mickey Kerr, I'm board manager of Oconee County Rockport. You know how hard it is to sit and listen to this when you've been somewhere 25 years of your life and worked with this group of guys for years. They know their business. I love every one of them as a family. And I have to sit back here, and I love these drivers, Randy, all of them, I know them. But, I started out as a mechanic, Wayne, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Tommy Crumpin hired me in 1995. I rode around on dirt, I rode around on rock, and that's why I'm crippled for today. Knees are shot, I'm fat, yeah, but my knees are shot. But I'm here in defense of Sandvik. I'm here in defense of my people and my county. I've heard that we have to, the county taxes pay for the quarry. They don't. County taxes don't pay that quarry. You know what pays for that quarry? Sweat, sore knees, overtime. By the brow, I got guys back here 30 years old. I got one right here as gray-headed as I am. He wasn't that way when he come. He knows what I'm talking about. I got to throw a little fun in here. But I'm telling y'all right now, I wasn't for a mobile plant. You can ask Bill and Tom. I didn't really go along with it. It might not be the best thing that ever hit Oconee County. But I'm going to back up a minute with all the electronics. It don't matter what you put out there new now. It's going to be computerized. It's going to be computerized. That's where we are. That's what you're looking at. The old plant, Randy was talking about his machines being broke down. Brother, I believe him.
Oh, yeah.
But you could fix the old ones. I got a cat out there, a 1992 cat. You can ask Tom, Billy, everybody. I won't get rid of it. You know why? Because I can go out there and start it up when nothing else will. Ain't got no computer. It's throttle, manual, it's all that. But that ain't where we are now. The old way, I'm old school. It's gone. It's going to be computerized. It's going to tell you how to set your cones. It's doing it. That's where we are. It's going to tell you, it's going to have a sensor. It's going to go out because of a rock hit it. I can't help that. It's going to have a gen set on it. If it's mobile, yeah, we got gen sets. We're waiting on one switch gear, which got there today, I think, that's going to put the electrical to it. No more loud generators for the gentlemen's here, that the heating here running. That's coming. But we still got 6 months, give or take, on the warranty. We still got 6 months of hard work.
That new generator starts over and it'll.
And the new generators, the gen sets us out, the warranty started over. When they put them on, it's just like it's brand new 6 months ago. So we're not losing nothing. Yeah, we've lost time, but I want to explain a couple more things. I'm going to shut up. Y'all don't know that we are governed by federal government. We can't run but 8 hours, really. We're governed by the federal government that can lock this gate and send us home. Y'all don't realize that. We got so many hours to get something done. Yeah, we make rock with that screen deck. Yeah, I ain't lying to you. I sit right back there and say, I agree. You know why? Because we got over 600 customers. It ain't just the farmer, it ain't just this 3 or 4 of us. We got to load everybody. We don't have people calling the manager and say, I had to wait an hour and a half. You know who I heard from? So they called Wayne, Wayne calls you, and I'm not fussing. Hey, I love you. I love my job. But here's the thing. When they call you and don't call me, I look like an idiot in front of who? My people. I didn't know nothing about it. Hey, guys, I got to tell you this. We got a truck driver way down there. They might have saw it. Hey, you know how much is going on with trucks going there and loaders moving stockpiles? Our stockpiles, yeah, we might not be making rock like we used to, but we ain't made rock in months and years with the old quarry. Last meeting, I saw it on video. Wayne said something about, and Wayne, I got respect for you from the bottom of my heart. You know that. We'll go back a long way. But when you come on as council member, we took stuff to you, and I was told that it was going to be conflict of interest if you've done something.
It was for free.
Yeah, I know it was for free. I know it's for free. But you know what? I look at stuff as warranty. I have to look at stuff. I don't go change a part. You can't repair a part no more factories-wise. You got to buy the new, or you liable. You know where the liabilities come in. You get warranties. I got Capital City, which is Filmco. I spent $8,000. Yeah, I did. I did. But you know what? They sent a truck. They helped us tear it down so we could keep making rock on the new plant and worked on the old plant. But y'all don't see all that. Y'all don't see my people working 10 hours. Yeah, we got over $100,000 overtime. Yeah, you know why? It ain't just because of the warranty. It's because of the demand. You ever worked in a canned good aisle? I worked a canned good aisle in the grocery store. They'd put a woman drive you crazy. I love women. I love them life. Y'all know where I'm going. I was 16 years old. I was a canned good aisle, and I put green beans in there and have it all decked out here and pretty. And one woman come in there and get every one of them. I'd be scratching my head. That's the way we are. It don't matter how big a plant you got. We one shift. If we was 2 shifts, maybe you keep up. Where's your maintenance? You're talking about maintenance. Hey, our maintenance, we have to do overtime to do maintenance. We have to work Saturdays. I got people that hate to see me coming. They hate to see Tom coming. They hate to see Billy coming. You know why? Or they're going to ask me to work over and crawl up in that thing and do something today, over Saturday morning. They there half a day Saturday, working, greasing, dirty. I got one that come right here today. He said, I didn't have time to clean up. Hey, that's fine. I wish it was all dirty. You know why? Because that's what we do. That's what they do. Since November of 19, we've lost 100. I'm getting ready to retire. Pam McCall's getting ready to retire in the next month. That's 185 hours of people that's been there through time. It's gone. And these guys here's gonna have to make it up. Billy, Tom Moxley, I recommend them. I recommend Leanna, all these people that's here working. Because you know why? Because they love their county. They love working for Oconee County. I love working for Oconee County. I hate politics. I'll tell you right now, I'm glad y'all got your job. I thank and respect every one of you, but I ain't no politician. See, that's what hurts. When you out here working with these guys, they like to talk, yeah, they work for me. Yeah, they do. You know why? Because I can't climb like I used to. I used to be on top, under something working. I can't do it no more. I just can't handle it. But they take care of me. There ain't a one of them in here, or the others that's not here, that wouldn't do anything I asked. I won't tell them. I won't say, hey, you go do it. I say, hey, you hate to see me ask you this, but you do it. Yeah, I'm done. It's done. Because I respect them and they respect me. But we are governed. Y'all got to remember, we are governed by the federal government. Twice a year, they can put a lock on that gate that y'all don't realize and say, y'all not crushing nothing. I got to go every morning, me or Tom, we got to ride down in that pit. We make a call if we can even run that day. Nobody knows that. Somebody goes down to there and rock falls on, kills them, well, Oconee County's done. If one of our guys go out there and they hop up on something and it's get electrocuted, we done. They'll put a lock on us. So these people, I mean, these things y'all don't see, and I understand that. That's the way it should be. But that's why we got a sign that we put up, we've had there, that, hey, visitors check in. If you want to come see us, I'll take you around. Tom will take you around. Billy, somebody, excuse me, mouth's dry, Scott. But we will make sure that you get to see it. I want you to. I invite you to see how it works. Yeah, I want it back. I want to get all these gen sets up. They coming. It's going to be up and it's going to be right. But when we run that screen deck, we was trying to make rock to keep people going, and Randy knows that. Not that, and yeah, we was using another product, done been crushed, but was trying to fill up 57 trucks. 57's the main thing. We can have them today, in the morning, they'll be gone by 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, gone. Y'all ain't got no 57. We had them, but if I'd have worked the second shift, yeah, we'd have had them. We can't run two shifts. We got to go by what the man says. The quarry is permitted at 2050. Plenty of rock. This place can rock and roll. It will rock and roll. Where I'm there, y'all here, where I'm gone from this world. I'm losing a 99-year-old father-in-law, World War II veteran right now. And he taught me one thing. If there ain't nothing else, he taught me. He said, if you're not bettering yourself, if you not doing a little bit something different than every day, you're in the same place you was the day before. That's the way we are. It might take everybody there, but we do what we got to do. And I'm not trying to make people feel sorry for us. I'm just telling y'all the way it is. And I'm proud of Oconee County. I'm proud of this rock quarry. Tommy Crumpton started something that's amazing. He left us with it amazing. And if y'all will go along and back these guys, it'll stay amazing. I'm telling you. We don't need nobody from outside to tell us how to make rock. Y'all can go start your car. You don't want your wife telling you how to drive, fellas. I know that. I got a wife too. I don't tell her how to drive. She'll throw me out. But they'll do it if y'all let them. Back them. Back eastbound. July 17th is my last day. I'm hanging it up. But you know what? If these guys call me and need something, I'll be there. Whether I'm on the clock or not. These guys will be there if I need them. I know it. That's the way they are. They will be there for y'all, the duration. They've always been there. Always. I remember a kid, Bunky Kedley Road over here, right near the quarry. Bunky Kedley drove a dump truck. Bring rock back then, that gravel your roads, if somebody died, they'd put gravel on your road, for funerals. And they would do it then, they do it now. It's not changed. Modern, yeah. Computers, yes. Tractors. Chubb Luker today, I talked to Chubb just this morning, computer injectors, everything. He's down. He was down because of the computer.
Where's the spare drill?
No, I don't know. I don't know where it was, but it wasn't there. And that cat was coming, couldn't get there today. But this is about the third one. It's computerized. That's where we're going. That's what my point is. I ain't no computerized mechanic. I could do anything you wanted to nowadays. I have to call CAT. I have to call Mitsubishi or whoever, because we can read so much. But hey, you done. You can't. But that's where we are. We're at the computer age. So you got to be prepared to pay the price. But not just for a portable crusher. Any kind of crusher is now. If you go back new, it's going to be controlled by electronics. That's just where we are. I thank y'all. I thank you for your time. Fellas, truck drivers, I appreciate y'all. Everyone that, if you got a problem, call me. I mean, you don't have to call Wayne or call Miss Brock. Ask everybody how to get in touch with Mickey Kerr. I'll talk to you. I promise you I will. I'd rather hear from y'all than Miss Brock say, hey, what's going on? I didn't know it. I'm not everywhere I need to be. I can't be. But these guys here, you can't be everywhere because you're busy. It's busy. It's busy at 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is. But I promise you, there's nobody, not a one of them out there that wouldn't do whatever they'd bend over backwards for you. Randy knows we've helped him work on stuff. We've lost mechanics. Now it's retired out. It's been there for years. But we got other people coming in that'll take care of it. It's just a different world. I appreciate y'all's time. I'm Mickey Kerr, Oconee County Rock Quarry Manager for now. But I appreciate it.
Mickey, I'm not allowed, by state law, I'm not allowed to call you. I can't, if I get a call from a thing, I can't even go to your quarry unless I'm with Doc Luker on Luker Brothers business.
Right.
So my only option is I have to call the administrator. I can't, if I call you up, then I'm micromanaging you.
Right, I understand.
The only other thing is, was it the 12 or the 15 went down? What was Chubb running? The new 12?
It's a cat. That's a newer one. It's a cat engine.
That's the new 12?
Yeah, it's a cat engine.
That rascal's under warranty.
Yeah, he's went, I mean, they fixing it, but he is down. You know, Chubb.
Roger's out there working on it, or Farrakhan?
I'm not sure, but they went as far as they could, and cat's got to come. So that's where we are. That's why I was making that point.
That's all right.
But I appreciate you. Appreciate every one of y'all. Appreciate your time. Thank y'all. Thanks.
Mickey, thank you for your service to Oconee County, and this is why we do what we do. And I'm grateful for the many years that you've done and standing up for your guys. Listen, we're not perfect. Anybody around here thinks that it's going to be perfect, it's not. And I think the biggest thing that to see somebody come forward, thank you for doing that. And thank you for all that you've done for this county.
I didn't say this for me.
You didn't.
It's for the county.
And that's why it means so much.
I moved off, got married one time, moved off, moved back home. Everybody gonna come back to Oconee County. That's just the way it is. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can we get 5 minutes?
Yes. Is any other council member comments real quick, and then we'll take a 5-minute break?
I do have comments, but we could wait till after.
I'd prefer for the video if we're okay. Can we do is that quick?
I mean, I don't want to keep people waiting.
You could be done.
What's up?
I said, we could be done. Do you need, can you wait a few minutes longer?
Paul can go on without me.
Yeah,
Have a medical.
I just want to say,
I'm sorry.
does this gentleman have to?
I'll comment this, but. Can I make, I'll be very fast.
I hadn't planned on speaking. I'm Tom Markovich for the record. But the comments on charging people from outside the county more money for the stone, I think that would be an error. I've been doing business here for 42 years. I've used Oconee County stone in Anderson, Pickens, Greenville, North Carolina. I haul stone all over the place. I've used contractors from those various places that have used this stone. Stone doesn't know where it's going. Knows it's gonna end up in the ground somewhere. But I think your ability right now, it's operating as an enterprise fund, so it's not really tax dollars going into it, so there's no net loss to Oconee County citizens. So I just think, but if you up the price for some of these haulers from outside the area, you don't know where that stone's going. It could be going here in Oconee County, but they're just an out-of-area contractor being used. Or it may be a county operator hauling it somewhere else, because I've done it all. Anyway, I just think you need to really think hard about the idea of charging somebody else more. That's all. Thank you.
Anybody else? Billy?
Hey, my name is Billy Buchanan. I'm the crew leader at the Oconee Quarry, and I just wanted to state a couple facts to kind of clear the record on a few things. I've heard folks say, and I don't remember who said it, but I've heard folks say, well, this is the only one in existence. Well, that's not true. Number one, they are all over Europe. But more importantly, the crushers are in use here in this country. They're just in stationary form. So it's not like we're reinventing the wheel. We're doing something that is done. In fact, the largest stone quarry in the country in San Antonio uses 2 of what we have. So again, this is, what we're doing is not anything that we shouldn't be doing. In fact, I think it's important that we have a mobile. And the reason I believe that is, we've got our stationary plant, which has been fantastic. But we've entered into the property, to buy the property, the ore property. That's basically in the direction of the old plant. And the old plant is sitting on about $30 million worth of rock. And with this new plant, we're never gonna be in that situation again. All we have to do is pick up the legs and walk away, So as we grow, it can grow with us. Another important thing about the plant is if something does go wrong, if there's a catastrophic failure, we can replace a piece of it, not the whole thing. So that's another important component of it. The truth is, and I just want to state for the record, that I believe what we bought was the best thing we could have bought. Not to even mention the fact that we are producing with a $6+ million plant, close to $7 million plant, what in stationary form would have cost twice that, more than twice that. I think the estimates were in the range of about $15 million. Not to mention, we'd be right back in the same boat of being on rock that we didn't need to be on. Now, I feel for Randy and Gary and all these guys because what they're saying is exactly right. It is 100% true. We've had some hiccups. We've had some bad ones. We've had 2 major issues of downtime. Unfortunately for the gentleman in the back, it sounds like he came right during both of them. Because, the one, whenever the crane was there with the new plant, that piston, again, all caused because the thing got hauled over in a hurricane. The piston come down, it didn't seat exactly correctly. We realized that. We had to get a crane, tear the thing apart, and get the piston seated correctly. We had to actually have it machined and then seated correctly. So, again, 4 days of downtime for us is horrific. And what we decided to do, rather than shut the gate and tell people to go home, is screen the stockpile so that we can have something to give folks. It's what we do. Now, we talked about they were talking about the mountain of Crusher Run that's been sold, and that's true. The new plant, one of the best parts about it is that it produces pretty much all the products pretty proportionally. The old plant would make roughly 350 tons an hour, and about half of that was crusher run. Well, you don't need half of your rock being crusher run. It's very inefficient in that way. Now, it's been nice to have that stockpile because it's gotten us through some of the issues we've had now. That's the way it's got us through because we've been able to rescreen it just to keep folks going. Again, I believe in what we have going. I think we've done the right thing as a quarry to recommend it, as a county to buy it. I think for the next couple of decades, we're going to be pounding out $6, $7, $8 million a year for the county. And I think we're right where we need to be as far as that's concerned. Right now, just to let you know where we're at, our old plant would make roughly 350 tons an hour. Right now, for the first 4 months of the year, we've been at 485 tons an hour. Sandvik has promised us that we would get to 606. So that's the goal. We're at 485 right now. We're going to 606. I believe we're going to get there. One of our biggest problems right now, and this is something that Miss Brock and I and Tom and Mickey and everybody working on is staffing. We're struggling. We're trying to run a 20-person quarry with 16 people right now. Now, she's been awesome about getting us people, and in fact, we've had to pump the brakes a little bit because we can only train so many people at a time safely.
Sorry.
So we're desperate for people. We're desperate for people. But we can only train so many at a time safely. She's been awesome about getting us what we have. We have 2 in training right now. We desperately need 2 more. And some of these times when the truck drivers come in and the machine's not running, it's like, oh my gosh, Sandvik. It might be that we've got 1 truck driver. The 45-minute wait might be that we've only got 1 loader on the yard that really needs 3, So again, things aren't as dire as you hear. And we are definitely headed in the right direction. So if you guys have any questions, please, I didn't know, you just said it, might not be legal, please come to us. And any of the public, please come to us because we will be glad to help you with anything. Oh, also, you mentioned QC, the 57s being different. The 57s in the past, they have always failed. We've made them intentionally too small. Well, we're dead center down state spec. So again, any of those issues for anybody, I'm singling out Randy because he said it, but anybody, if you have any issues, please come talk to us. I'm with you. Just come to me. We'll pull a sample. We'll look at it together.
Well, the crush run, we got it passed. It's QA gravel with huge now.
Right.
But what I'm saying is you can pick up a handful.
Right.
And you can count the rocks. You pick up a handful of it now, and it's got a lot of smaller, different material.
It does, and we've always ran it at about 3/4 rather than state spec, and we're on state spec now. Because how can we hold Sandvik to any sort of expectation if we're not running state spec? So that's kind of how that went. So. Right.
But it's still got all that stuff in it.
Right.
And you may be state spec, but for what you use, just like putting in a septic tank,
Right.
the less fines you got, the better you are.
And I agree, and believe me, I'm not causing an argument. I just want you to come and let's pull the sample together, please. Come spend an hour with me next week, and we'll pull a sample and we'll look at it. But again, thank you guys. If you have any questions, come talk to us, please. Don't, please just come talk to us. Yeah, thank you.
I just want to add to that, Billy, filled in a lot of blanks on the much thicker, longer report that each of you have. This will also be online for anyone to read. Paper copies can be made available at any time. I did go through the PowerPoint, it's just a highlight, but there is a longer, more detailed report on your desk in front of you.
I do appreciate everybody's patience with that, and I'm thankful for council for allowing the communication that continues to occur. And again, like with staff, we don't get involved in your day-to-day because we're not supposed to get involved in your day-to-day. So, but from, the public can contact you all day long. It's just from a staff standpoint, from elected officials. We'll take 5 minutes. Anybody needs to, I know we need to, and then we'll start it there. Thank you for so much for patience, about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Did have public comment on the rock quarry.
Yeah,
Sorry
thank you,
about
Mr. Chair. No, that's fine. Real quick, I know everybody's here for things other than the rock quarry, but I just wanted to say thank you to the employees, if any of them are still here, for what y'all have put up with, not only in new equipment, but also probably people going over your head and not following the chain of command. And that's, I remember when I was, not working for myself, how much that annoyed me. So I'm sorry for that when that happens. I don't know really anything about rock quarries other than what the experts tell us. Same thing when Mr. Martin said, I think we ought to sell the rock quarry. I said, I don't think that's a very good idea, but I'll hear you out. And we had this room filled with people. We discussed it publicly. And there was an overwhelming opposition to selling the rock quarry. And the expert said, sell it. But we listened to the people, and we will continue to listen to the people and work through these issues. And I've heard some ideas, I've heard some problems, but, we hear one thing, and I got one phone call. My phone number's on the county website. It's 864-784-2270. If anybody wants to call me, I'm available. I'll call you back within a day or two, if I don't talk to you right then. But I've got one phone call about the quarry, and I agree 100% with the way Ms. Brock has handled this. Let's get the information, let's get folks out here, and let's talk about it. And that's what we need to do from here on out with problems, is not go and try to micromanage people and try to make people look bad. It's about solving the problem. We're on the same team here. Whether you work for the county or you're just a customer of the county quarry, we want to serve you, and we rely on those proceeds to help offset our budget. So appreciate everybody who came out. Looks like everybody's gone now. But I just want to say for the record, we clearly have some issues to resolve, but I have full faith in our employees that they're gonna get it figured out. And I think what Mr. Elliott brought up, supply and demand. If that rock's getting sold first thing in the morning to people who don't live and operate a business here and are merely coming here because we got the lowest prices, that's not the right thing to do. We need to take care of our own first. And I agree we need to be competitive on pricing, but we don't, if somebody's traveling from across the state because it's more cost efficient to run a truck that far, something's wrong. Like that's unheard of in any commodity business for somebody to be driving a truck that far. It doesn't make any sense. So we've got a problem there. Also, I think if there's a way, at least until we get the inventory challenges resolved, if we can look at communicating when when we know we're about to run out of a certain size of stone. I don't know what the number 7 or number 57. I know what pea gravel is.
That's the only one.
And I know what riprap is. Everything else is you might as well be speaking Mandarin. But if we could have some sort of communication, I don't know, with cell phones, sending a text out to our customers and just letting them know, hey, we're out of this stuff and it'll be back Thursday.
Right.
And then they know and they don't have to run a truck up there.
That right now.
And so, see, problems are already being solved. So I'm coming up with things right now that you've already
And it's
implemented.
fantastic because it's the first thing that came to everybody's mind.
Right.
It's truly fantastic because everyone was like, hey, you guys don't have a cell phone. Do you care if we talked with IT about us doing, that way if we're in an office, we can actually send it to like certain numbers from a computer and not have to text it out. We can actually send it from a computer as a mass message to anybody who has an account. Now, some of the people with our cash customers, if they have separate cell phone numbers or if they got a different driver, we're not gonna hit everybody with that method, but at least it's a starting the communication process. It's a start.
That's all I got. I appreciate all that the staff has done and the folks at the quarry. I mean, y'all are doing an awesome job. I know it's been tough trying to figure out how to work this alien piece of equipment, but you'll eventually get it. And we'll be very glad to see those piles starting to grow over time. And not because there's not demand, but because y'all are producing so much. So thank you for what you do. I got full faith that y'all will keep doing a great job. And I'm glad that we're making some progress here, not just throwing darts at each other. That's all my comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Any other comments? Mr. Hart, you got anything to say?
Nope.
Because you kind of brought this up. Any,
Well, I was getting calls about this, and that was part of my job, is to let people know. And Ms. Brock said she's getting calls. I gave her telephone number out and told them to call her. And is that not the case?
Yeah, this time it was, absolutely.
So
I think Mr.
everybody
Will
now
was the
sees
first
that there
person I
is some
spoke
type of a problem. Some of us had our heads in the sand when we was trying to tell that well, there was a problem. And if we think we can resolve it, that's what I told her to start with. She called me one night and told me there's a bigger problem out there than she had thought, and she had worked on it. And I told her that was the main object, was if she knew how to resolve that problem, that was it. I didn't have any problems with it.
all right. Any other comments? All right. All right. He's still here.
Mr. Chairman, I want to clarify something on
Please do.
the Conservation Bank.
Okay.
There's been some question from the public and from some council members where the money comes from the Conservation Bank spends. And so it is private money. A lot of it came from Duke Power when we relicensed their nuclear plant. I think it was over 600,000 or close to 600,000. And then we also have private donations that sometimes we get. So I want everybody to know this is not taxpayer money that we're buying land for conservation purposes. I'm correct on that, right?
That's correct. I'm Andy Smith. I'm the chair of the Coney County Conservation Bank Board. Exactly. The bank's been in existence for several years, and 2 or 3 years ago, we got a $600,000 grant from Duke. That's the money that we have in there. We've had a few small donations, $1,000, $500. We started getting interest on that money last year. We made $10,000 in interest on it. It's not taxpayer money, and it's for the benefit of the citizens of Coney County and everywhere. And every cent of the money that the Coney County Conservation Bank goes towards conservation. It doesn't pay staff, doesn't pay the bank board members. We're all volunteers. It's purely to conserve land. And we're not going to conserve every land in the world, but you got a private individual who looks at their property, they love it, and they say, I think this is worth keeping like it is forever. And they say, I want to do that. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my development rights away. I'm going to give them away. I'll get some return for that through these grants, but this land won't be developed. And people will be able to enjoy it as long as there's a South Carolina and a United States. They'll be able to enjoy that land. So it's anybody who believes in that in this county, if you want to give money to conservation, give it to the Coney County Conservation Bank, because every cent of it goes to conservation. Doesn't go to administrative fees, anything else. It goes to conservation.
Thank you.
We've got 3 properties that you have reports on, and I'll just briefly talk about them. The first is 220 acres over near Devil's Fork State Park. It's full of Oconee bells. It's got a mile of unaltered stream in there. One of the best things about it is that it's going to allow public access. It potentially could become part of Devil's Fork State Park. It may not. It's going to be managed by the applicant, the Natureland Trust. It's a fee simple purchase. We're giving an award, proposing an award of $88,000 for that out of our funds. The value of the property is $880,000. The second piece of property is...
Hang on one second, Mr. Smith.
Yes, sir.
So we do this a little clear, since you're announcing that, I'd like to pause on that.
Yes, sir.
Can I get a motion to approve Cliffs Timber LLC Chapman Bridge, Oconee Bell Preserve, 220 acres, Oconee County Conservation Bank Board fee simple purchase in the amount of $88,000 or 10% of the appraised value, whichever is less.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Second piece of property is a Gary Lyle property, private individuals, 165 acres. The applicant is the Coney Soil and Water Conservation District. They'll be the manager of it. This is a conservation easement transaction, not a fee simple purchase. This is a great example of a working farm. This is a timber farm. It's got 50 acres and 50-year-old pine trees, 30 acres and 2-year-old pines, 30 acres and 1-year-old pines. Part of what we do at the Conservation Bank is we conserve not only natural resource property, scenic property, working farms. We love our rural working farms. It's part of the beauty of Oconee County. It's going to stay that. One of the things that we were able to do that I think is a good thing is that we asked about what are the best management practices for the 8,000 feet of streams that are there. And we know they're going to cut this timber. It's going to be a working farm forever now. And they talked about what the buffers were from that, and we got them to agree to double the size of the buffer from those creeks, from 25 feet, which is the BMP, to 50 feet. Would have liked to have been 100, but that was an improvement that's another direct benefit to conservation through this project. The landowner is actually contributing 56% of the value of that conservation easement, which is really an amazing thing. We're bringing money to the table to help them take those development rights off, but they're not looking for the rest of the money to do that. They're just doing it as a wash. So that's the Gary Lyle property that will be managed by the Coney Soil and Water Conservation District.
I get a motion to approve the Gary Lyle property, 165.89 acres, to Oconee County Conservation Bank Board, conservation easement, to approve funding in the amount of $45,000 or 10% of the appraised value, whichever is less, for the conservation easement to Oconee Soil and Water Conservation District.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Third property is the Elaine Morris property. This is a property that was actually approved by an earlier board for a grant that's more than 10%. We established the 10% budget for ourselves after this award was given, but they had health problems that they didn't close on the property, came back to us. We honored that original award of $12,500 for this 26 acres. They've got 1,550 feet along Mill Creek. It's in the heart of Choey Valley, very remote, very appropriate piece of mature forest that's adjacent to South Carolina Heritage Forest property, small piece of property that's getting the conservation easement that'll be managed by Upstate forever, and the landowner is donating 79% of the conservation value.
A motion to approve the Morris Family Revocable Trust, 26.26 acres, Oconee County Conservation Bank Board, conservation easement. Oconee County Conservation Bank Board unanimously approved on Tuesday for council to approve the funding in the amount of $12,500 for conservation easement to Upstate Forever.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
I just want to close with, as Ms. Brock said, we had 400 acres just now that we brought to you. 800 acres have been conserved since the origin of the Oconee County Conservation Bank. We've got $350,000 still in our accounts. The thing I want to say is that the value that we get, that everybody gets for this, is we're paying about $350 an acre to conserve this property. Because money, either the landowners are saying, I'm going to donate the rest, or you're getting a $500,000 grant from the South Carolina Conservation Bank or other sources. We're paying, not taxpayers, but the Conservation Bank for Oconee County is paying $350 per acre to conserve this property. So everybody knows that's an incredible value.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you to the board for their meetings and everything like that. And do you know, you want to announce your board who was in your meetings and stuff like that? Do you have all their names?
Now, who you
Not
talking
like
about, our
board-
board members?
Yeah, your board members.
So we've got Fran Rundelet, we've got Frank Abels, who just resigned out of your district. We've got Ryan Keese, we've got Emily Hitchcock, we've got Andy Smith, we've got Martin Prater, we've got Laura Havrin. I think that's us. There's 6 of us right now,
Thank you.
7-member board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from council? All right. Move along, public hearing on ordinance 2020-13, ordinance directing that the implementation of real property reassessment in Oconee County be delayed for 1 year as authorized by statute and other matters related thereto. No one has signed up for a public hearing, no one has called in, or there's no written comments. If there is, they can be delivered to Ms. Smith. We'll move to close public hearing on ordinance 2020-13. We will be having third reading on said ordinance, public hearing that we just closed, ordinance 2020-13 for the delaying the 1 year by statute for the implementation of real property reassessment. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We will move into this, just so we're clear on there, we'd have a motion and a second, and then a motion to postpone, correct? So we would need it. So this is second reading, ordinance 2020-01, ordinance to
Mr.
establish. Yes,
We're on ordinance 2020-01.
yes. That's what
I
I
want to
was,
make a motion, but do I wait?
You do. Just as the chairman was saying, we need to have a motion and a second to
Okay.
bring it to the floor,
Thank
and then your motion to postpone so we can get the revised.
I appreciate you keeping me accountable down, that's good.
Yeah, it's good that you're on.
I'm still awake.
Yeah, that's I can't read anymore down here, I'm struggling, so. Ordinance 2020-01, ordinance to establish the budget for Oconee County to provide the levy of taxes for ordinary county purposes for the Tri-County Technical College Special Revenue Fund, Emergency Services Protection Special Revenue Fund, for the Road Maintenance Special Revenue Fund, Bridge and Culvert Capital Project Fund, the Economic Development Capital Project Fund, the Debt Service Fund, Victim Services Special Revenue Funds for the Capital Vehicle Equipment Fund, all in Oconee County for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th. To have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Okay, I'm good. So, Mr. Chairman, due to the Budget Committee meeting discussion earlier today, I make a motion to postpone the second reading of ordinance 2020-01 with instructions that the county administration and the staff present to council at a future date proposed amendments to ordinance 2020-01, which amendments will generally reflect the budget as adopted for the fiscal year 2019-2020.
I second the, Mr. Elliott's very well stated motion.
We have a motion to postpone, and we have a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We have ordinance 2020-02, ordinance to establish the budget for the school district of Oconee County and to provide for the levy of taxes for operations of the school district of Oconee County for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021. A motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion?
Are they gonna come back, there's rumor they're gonna try to come back with us for a big millage increase?
Wayne, as I made the statement earlier today, be
That's right.
crystal clear.
I stand corrected.
There's going to be no millage or tax increase from the county or from the school district.
I appreciate you bringing that, reminding me and bringing that to my
Thank you.
attention.
So that's the fourth time I've made that crystal clear to the public now. Maybe they need to hear it 5 more times.
5 more times. Black and white. We have a motion and a second, and that was discussion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Ordinance 2020-03, ordinance to provide the levy of taxes for the Kiwi Fire Special Tax District and to establish the budget for the Kiwi Fire Special Tax District for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020, ending June 30th, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No first reading, no first and final. We do have discussion on action item PRT Commission, state and local ATEX recommendations. PRT Commission and PRT staff recommends $46,000 for local ATEX funds for the museum program, year 4, $41,005, and for the South Carolina Sports Alliance for $5,000. We can have this all in one motion. I don't need individuals since it's all ATEX. And PRT commissions for PRT staff recommends a total of $171,000 in ATEX funds for fiscal year 20. Visit Oconee, South Carolina budget is estimated that $150,000 will come from state ATEX funds and $21,000 from local ATEX fund. Exact amount for each accounts will be determined upon receipt of fourth quarter state ATEX check in August 2020. Staff's recommendation that approval of ATEX recommendations from the PRT Commission. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion to second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. King will take the next one, and I will remove myself from that one.
All right, the next matter is change order number 6 to PO number 53771 with regard to the new office and 88 restrooms for Shawram Park in the amount of $86,760 due to the emergency that we had had in the county with the tornado. Is that correct, Ms. Brock?
No, sir.
I'm sorry. I'll
No,
let
sir.
you explain it.
If you don't mind, I'm just gonna read directly from this,
Okay.
as it reflects the written record here.
Well, I could have done that.
I don't
I was
mind
just trying to
reading.
paraphrase. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Either one of us, sir. Your preference is fine.
I'll just read it if
Sure.
that's all the same. On October 15, 2019, council approved design build construction services J. Davis Construction for new office and ADA compliant restrooms for Shawram and Park shelters in the amount, for High Falls, in the amount of $858,440 plus contingency in the amount of $44,162 for a total award of $902,602. Council also approved the county administrator signing change orders within the contingency amount. Shawram was originally planned to be built in-house with facilities maintenance handling the building and roads and bridges handling the site work, parking, and access work. After budget approval, facilities had to be pulled for an emergency project. The county has had 3 FEMA incidents occupying the roads and bridges division and limiting available staff. This resulted in a necessity to bid the project, which resulted in a number of change orders for items that were planned to be completed in-house. So we need a motion to first approve the PO number 53711, change order number 6 in the amount of $86,760, making the total purchase order amount of $558,307.07, and also to authorize the county administrator to execute and sign the change order. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, well,
So in a roundabout way, it was sort of related,
that's what I thought,
but
but,
only because we couldn't do the work in-house.
yeah,
Thank you, sir.
I just was trying to avoid reading all that.
Next item we have request council consideration approval of life after lockup for a full-time employment position.
Yes, and my apologies to the council clerk first and foremost, because I promised her an agenda item summary, I don't know, noon last Thursday, and here we are. I failed her. If you would trust me on this, I'd be happy to provide the documentation after this. Generally, I would not ever allow or ask council to approve anything without a whole lot of documentation in your budget pack, or in your backup packet to back it up. But we do have a life after lockup participant. Sheriff can verify this. You all know that this is a program that Oconee County Sheriff's Office has been in now going on the 4th year. And I think this will be our 3rd request for a participant to become a county employee. And that in the past, I had named specific departments for the life after lockup participants to work in. But I realized if there was any change in that person's needs or skills, that person would be stuck in a certain location because that was what council had approved. So this particular position is located within the general fund portion of Oconee County government and is with an outlying office And we're looking very much forward to having this participant join our team as a staff member. The economic cost, if I remember correctly, I don't think it was up here either. I'm just gonna say it off the top of my head, and if I'm wrong, I will email you all and clarify the record tomorrow, but I think it's roughly $42,000. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and ask for an amount not to exceed 45, in the event that I'm wrong, and that does cover benefits.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir, Mr. McCall.
This is the last one of my pool guys.
It is.
And this program was started by the sheriff, myself, and Russell Price. And so far, we were batting 1,000 till one let us down. But everybody else has been perfect. This guy is getting out now. He will not let us down. I guarantee this one. He'll be as good as the other two.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Mr. Elliott, very quick, Budget Finance Administration report?
Yes, the Budget Finance Administration Committee meeting on May the 5th, 2020. We had two discussion items. The first was the fiscal 2020-2021 school district Waconee budget. Ms. Gloria Moore addressed the committee utilizing a PowerPoint entitled School District of Waconee County 2020-2021 Budget and gave a brief description of the budget. The second item of discussion was the fiscal year 2020-2021 Waconee County budget. Ms. Brock addressed the committee utilizing handouts entitled Budget 2020-2021 General Fund Changes from Prior, Budget Report by Fund Expenditure, and General Fund Monthly Accounts Report, and gave a brief description. Next meeting on May the 19th, two discussion items again. Continue the school district budget discussion. Ms. Gloria Moore addressed the committee utilizing a PowerPoint entitled School District of Waconee County 2020-2021 and gave a brief presentation. Second item was the 2020-2021 Waconee County budget. Ms. Brock addressed the committee utilizing a PowerPoint presentation entitled Waconee County's Administrator's Recommended Budget for the year ending June 30th, 2021, and a handout entitled Waconee County Administrator's Recommended Budget 2020-2021 and Budget 2020-2021 General Fund Changes from Prior, and gave a brief presentation. The next meeting was held this afternoon. Thank you.
All right. No action coming out of those. We don't have any questionnaires for board and commission appointments. We still need executive session, correct?
Do, please. I'm sorry.
All right, that's fine.
It'll be quick.
We do need a motion for executive session for one, to discuss contractual matter related to potential property purchases for public health and safety purposes. Have a motion to enter an executive session.
Make motion.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Reconvene.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
No action was taken in executive session. We do have a motion coming out of executive session.
Mr. Chairman, yes, we need a motion to direct the county administrator to proceed with negotiations as discussed on the subject parcels, some of which are for health and safety purposes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Need a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.